In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and in the name of the Holy Ghost. Amen.
In 1917, when Mr. Gurdjieff was in the Caucasus, he told his students the following: "The work of every man can proceed in three directions. He can be useful to the work, he can be useful to me, and he can be useful to himself. Of course, it is desirable that a man's work should produce results in all three directions." Mr. Gurdjieff spoke to them of the meaning of work on oneself. "If a man is useful to the work and is useful to me," he said, "but is not able to be useful to himself, this is much worse because it cannot last long. If a man takes nothing for himself and does not change, if he remains such as he was before, then the fact of his having by chance been useful for a short time is not placed to his credit. And what is more important, his usefulness does not last for long." He then gives a warning. "The work grows and changes. If a man himself does not grow or change, he cannot keep up with the work. The work leaves him behind, and then the very thing that was useful may begin to be harmful." This is a work of waking up to oneself in the immediate, by returning the attention to the body sensation and connecting all three centers. Only now, in this new moment, can there be impartial receiving of impressions, a new kind of listening of the truth of myself. Mr. Gurdjieff tells us that a very important moment in the work on oneself is when a man begins to distinguish between his personality and his essence. A man's real I, his individuality, can grow only from his essence. It can be said that a man's individuality is his essence, grown up, mature. But in order to enable essence to grow up, it is first of all necessary to weaken the constant pressure of personality upon it, because the obstacles to the growth of essence are contained in personality. There are different levels of sensation. The sensation we can reach now is not enough, so we have to work towards having sensation of all parts at one time, to have relationship between the head and heart and body. Work on oneself uses ordinary life to come to real life. In doing so, my inner tempo changes, as does the quality of the blood. The effects are physical, psychological, and spiritual. We begin to integrate body, senses, and mind. As we begin to work on ourselves, we come into deeper self-knowledge. These observed facts show us where our own work lies. That is, what we must begin to struggle against, to consciously and intentionally suffer. Not to become a better person, but to forge higher degrees of being consciousness. This direction of work on oneself, rightly conducted and guided by one who takes the role of teacher, leads to higher degrees of being understanding, which naturally resonates with and makes an organic call to all the three directions of work.
In the name of the cause of my arising, I will always strive to be just toward every already spiritualized source, and toward all sources of future spiritualized manifestations of our common Creator, Almighty Autocrat Endlessness. Amen.
Madame de Salzman said, "Unless one prepares others to take one's place and to occupy one's level, so that the right kind of vibration or energy is produced, one is not free to continue one's work in higher spheres." The best way to express our gratitude to our teachers is to work so that they do not have to come back to lower levels. If they are freed from the earth, they can continue their work at higher levels. Otherwise, they are obliged to return and keep working here. On the fourth way, there is not one teacher. Whoever is the elder, he is the teacher. The pupil cannot go on without the teacher, and the teacher cannot go on without the pupil or pupils. As has been said before, no one can ascend unto a higher step until he places another man in his own place. What a man has received, he must immediately give back. Only then can he receive more. Otherwise, from him will be taken even what he has already been given. Lord Pentland said, "The understanding that Gurdjieff gave was, 'I can't help you. You can only be helped by the conditions which I create.' It isn't a one-to-one teaching. It's a teaching which depends on its manifestations in groups or in a community." Gurdjieff acknowledges to awaken is difficult and impossible to do by oneself. One needs a group of people, he says, with a like aim, all involved in the teaching he brings and led by a teacher.
Thou long-patient Creator of all that breathes, Thou abundantly loving cause of all that exists, Thou unique vanquisher of the merciless hero pass, now, to the sounds of our glorifying, only rejoice and abide in beatitude. By Thy unprecedented labors Thou hast given us the beginning of our risings. By Thy vanquishing the hero pass, we have obtained the possibility of perfecting ourselves to the sacred enclave, and now only rest as merited. And we, in gratitude, will maintain all that Thou hast created, and always and in all things will extol Thee forever. Extol Thee, Maker Creator, Thou, the beginning of all ends, Thou, proceeding from infinity, Thou, having the end of all things within Thyself, Thou, our endlessness.